The future of cruises in Florida's southernmost cruise port rests solely in the hands of the state governor at the moment, and now he decides whether or not cruising operations can continue, grow, or permanently cease. Some big implications, plus the busiest cruise port in the world just got notice that the largest cruise ship ever built will be calling her waters home. Some exciting news, and Royal Caribbean is in the hot seat for oversold cruises. I'm going to give you all the updates and let you know whether or not this may affect you. Let's roll the intro. Welcome to the Midships channel. It's your Captain Corey. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel today. And wha-bam! We got to kick things off with a question of the day. Yeah, we're kicking it off. What is one place you would not be interested in cruising to? There's so many places that we probably all want to go, but is there somewhere that cruises go that you wouldn't like to actually visit? Let me know your answers in the comments down below. Now let's get on to today's cruise news. We're taking things down to South Florida, South Florida, Florida's southernmost cruise port, some might say. If you haven't figured it out yet, we need to talk about Key West, which is the current epicenter of a massive decision that will completely affect cruises to and from Key West moving forward. And this is going to be a tough decision that lies squarely in the hands of Florida's governor and basically residents of Key West since around 2020 or so. Well, they've actively fought to limit the size and number of cruise ships that can visit Key West. They're concerned over the environmental impact of these ships, and so much so that they've actually passed 3 ballot measures in 2020 that put a cap on daily passenger arrivals in Key West to only 1,500. However, that is only for the public dock, not the privately owned dock. And it doesn't matter because those decisions were overturned by the Florida state legislature the following year, saying that local ballot measures limiting marine commerce were not something that would be allowed in the state of Florida. Well, let's fast forward a bit to today, and the community pushback in Key West seems to only be growing, spurred on by a local activist group named Safer Cleaner Ships, which has set up a fairly large website that seeks to shed light on what they call a silt problem in the waters of Key West caused by cruise ships. And seemingly all of this decision-making will come to a head in December as the governor will decide whether to cap the number of cruise ship visitors to Key West, allow for expansion, or decrease the amount of passengers who are allowed to visit this Florida port. Not sure exactly what's going to happen, but we'll find out pretty soon. And speaking of pretty soon you could have the best cruise essentials in your pretty little hands delivered straight to you from Amazon, and all because you went and clicked the Midships Amazon store link in the description below this video. I really appreciate you considering supporting small creators like myself. And like I always say, literally just clicking on that link forces Jeffrey Bezos to mail me a check at the end of the month. Check out the description below this video. Now let's take the cruise news over to the busiest cruise port on planet Earth. That, of course, being Central Florida's very own Port Canaveral, where a star is on the horizon, a brand new star, as a matter of fact, as Royal Caribbean's newest and second Icon-class ship, Star of the Seas, has officially been announced that she'll homeport from Port Canaveral, Florida, beginning in 2025. And if you're excited to go on board, bookings for Star of the Seas go on sale December 6th. So just a couple days from now. Man, we're getting close to Christmas. It's like 25 days. Can you believe that? This year has, boom, shot by. Star of the Seas is truly massive, and I cannot wait to see her bobbing up and down in the Central Florida waters. And since we've got Royal Caribbean on the brain, you loyal to Royal folks, I love y'all so much. Such a fun crowd to meet on the Ships of the Seas ships. We need to talk about your beloved Royal Caribbean though, because well, they've been giving the shaft to some cruisers as of late. For instance, 23-year-old Jai Raynor found out that his vacation was canceled before it even began. Jai was planning to take a cruise on Tuesday with his wife Caitlin to celebrate Caitlin's graduation of college. But upon arrival at the terminal for their 8-night cruise, officials from Royal Caribbean told them they could not board. They handed them a letter informing them that they didn't have enough room for them on the ship. They had in fact overbooked the cruise ship. And according to Rayner's reservation, well, they had only booked a guaranteed cabin, which was to allow the cruise line to pick a stateroom for them. And it sounds like there were no cabins available for them, which that's a big problem, especially receiving that at boarding time. Now, Royal Caribbean said, well, you can keep waiting on standby at the pier, and if perhaps someone doesn't show up, we'll get you in that cabin and give you $100 onboard credit if we can. Well, the family stuck around, but unfortunately no rooms became available, which, according to the Rayners, was absolutely crushing. Now, Royal Caribbean, for their part, they gave a full refund to this family, and they extended a meager 25% future cruise credit, 25% for getting all the way to your cruise ship to be turned away from Royal Caribbean. Y'all are better than that. Come on, Royal. You know, this kind of situation, it sounds like it could be very, very upsetting for those involved. It's basically playing musical chairs, according to one cruise industry expert. And the question is, when are you going to be the one left standing when the music stops? I couldn't agree more with that sentiment. Personally, I don't like the practice of overselling a cruise ship. It's not the same as overselling a flight where there's probably another one in a couple hours, overselling a hotel where you could probably go across the street or down the block and find a room for the night. These cruises, they're not really just sitting there waiting for you to hop on at the port. I think this is a practice that needs to go the way of the dodo. If you agree with me, well, sound off in the comment section down below. That's where your beautiful faces, well, they get to contribute here on the Midships channel, and I love flipping through those comments. It makes my evenings with my hot tea, or as of late, my eggnog and cherry pie. Can't wait to read those comments tonight. But if you're worried that your Royal Caribbean cruise may face the same issue, well, know this. This issue is really only happening on Quantum of the Sea sailings down in Australia. So if you're not booked on those, well, hopefully you're not going to see that as an issue. We really haven't had to talk about this all that frequently in the cruise news. Hey, if you made it this far into today's episode, why don't you join the 21,420 other Midships family members by smashing that subscribe button. While you're down there smashing it, hit the thumbs up button if you want to remind YouTube you like seeing content about cruises, cruise ships. Hopefully they serve you a little bit more. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel today. And until next time, we'll see ya. We'll see ya on the Midships.